deposit your cryptocurrencies in exchange for interest payments. And they will turn around and give out loans and charge interest on that as well. And if that sounds like a bank to you, depositing and lending money, I should clear that part up right away. Celsius says they're not a bank because banks are bad.
Banks are not your friends. We all know that. And we decided to create a replacement for the banking system, right? Something that acts in your best interest, a place where you can actually have your money work for you, not just you work for your money. And basically 3 years since we launched the product, we've paid $1 billion back to the community.
Wow. That guy you just heard speaking is Alex Mashinsky. And nobody hates banks more than this guy. I mean, look at his shirt. How could his company, which lends money and takes deposits, be a bank when he has a shirt that says banks are not your friends? Weird foreshadowing, actually. In fact, before we jump into this full thing, I need to tell you how much Alex hates banks. He hates them so much, he says that banking and securities laws shouldn't apply to his company. Quote, banking and securities laws shouldn't apply to Celsius because cryptocurrencies are commodities. This is from a great article by Bloomberg. And he says, quote, like a neighbor who borrows a cup of sugar, then later gives back a cup and a tablespoon more. That's right. The normal rules shouldn't apply to him. Why would you regulate this humble little sugar lender? Well, I can think of one reason. Maybe it has something to do with the 25 billion cups of sugar that Celsius has under management. Wait, I'm sorry, dollars. I got a little confused there. And yeah, actually, it's not cups of sugar they're lending so much as it is digital dollars, which it's kind of hard to say that lending digital dollars and lending regular dollars are not pretty similar things. Again, I think most people would say the rules should apply to them, especially since Celsius is now collapsing, and we do not know yet whether it will survive this crash or what will happen to its 25 billion cups of sugar. But of course, the big question is, what is causing this collapse? Well, it turns out for the past few months, people have been worried about Celsius's ability to repay customers back their withdrawals, partially because of the insane yields that they were paying out. For example, if you were to deposit like $1 at a bank, you'd get a fraction of a % of interest every year. On the other hand, if you deposited 1 Tether or USDC at Celsius, they were paying 9% per year on your money. That's the same amount of money, and Celsius is paying out 100 times the interest rate on that exact same deposit, basically. And the question is, how is that possible, right? Is this thing too good to be true? And if it is, when is it going to collapse? Well, the founder, Mashinsky, has been telling everyone that it's not too good to be true. In actual fact, the reason this is possible is because banks equal bad and Celsius equal good. He's quoted as saying, it's the traditional finance system that's ripping people off by taking their deposits, using them to make money, and then claiming it can only pay tiny interest rates. Somebody is lying, Mashinsky said. Either the bank is lying or Celsius is lying. Oof, that aged poorly, didn't it? Because despite him claiming that everything was fine, things under the surface weren't actually so great. See, at least in theory, the idea of Celsius isn't like totally insane, right? Banks do give tiny interest rates compared to what they make, and Celsius was charging fairly high interest rates to borrow their crypto. Like to borrow a stablecoin, they would charge 12%, which is more than they were paying to deposit it. But the real problem is that no bank or new age finance company can ever loan out 100% of what they have as deposits. The reason is that if you lent out every dollar you took in, you'd have nothing left to pay withdrawals back with. And so you're left in this sort of conundrum. On the one hand, you want to loan out as much as possible to get the interest to pay your depositors. But on the other hand, you need to keep enough on hand to pay for withdrawal. And that's all money that you're not making interest on, which makes this whole thing kind of a weird balancing act. Lend too much, you can't meet withdrawals. Lend too little, you're losing money every month. Now, perhaps to solve this money problem, Celsius created their own crypto token called sell, which people could invest in. This token, in theory, was supposed to lube the whole system up and make it work smoothly like a finely tuned engine. It could provide liquidity where they needed it. Actually, they literally described the system as a wheel, according to Mashinsky, a wheel of fortune that keeps on giving. According to him, this was Celsius's main business plan. Flywheel token economics, he called it. Issue loans, collect interest, give it to the people, lend coins, collect interest on coins, buy Celsius, distribute to members. Interest rates. You get the idea. Borrow their money goes up forever. Well, right up until it doesn't. Because in case you haven't noticed, it's winter in June. I mean,
The first pro team to win a tournament in Model for 2 are the New York Subliners. This is the SMG class that they use. Pro players don't tune, but